So if I could go back and talk to my 20-year-old self about business and wealth, I certainly wouldn't tell him to try and climb the corporate ladder a lot quicker. And I wouldn't tell him to save as much money as you can for that mortgage. I'd actually tell him to wake the up, because the path I thought to success was the classic, get the mortgage, have the career, get a flash car, the safe plan. Okay. And this is the trap that 99% of people fall into. And I was told the same story that everyone else my age was. Okay. You have to get a job, get a mortgage, have a family. Okay. Then you'll be happy. Now, some of those things are absolutely correct. You have a family, you get a house, you will be happy, but you don't need to do those things until you're over the age of 30. So I'm going to break down this video into 5 parts and explain to you why you need to start your own business and accumulate wealth in your 20s. So before we get started, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. My spot's still there. That's why I'm wearing the cap, even though I wear the cap most of the time anyway. I just thought I'd give you an update on it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's get on with the video. So part 1, the system is designed to keep you comfortable. It rewards you being compliant. It will not reward you for being creative. And society trains you to trade your time for a paycheck. And funnily enough, it never trains you to question why that is. And they give you a promotion just enough to keep you motivated. And obviously nowhere near enough for you to turn around to your boss and say, off, I'm done now. I'm over this. So then you take on more debt. Okay, you get a nicer car, you get a bigger house. Your bosses will say you deserve it, treat yourself. All you're doing is actually building yourself a bigger prison. That's all you're doing. Look, I'm not starting a conspiracy or anything like that. This is just how it is. Okay, it's all a game. This is how it's played. Society wants you to fall in line. They want to control you, and they don't want you being creative. They don't want you to question why you have to live this life. And look, if you're happy with that life, then that's great. You go for it. Okay, you enjoy your career, enjoy your Netflix or your Love Island or your Gardener's World or whatever you want to watch in the evenings. That's fine. You go for it. But for the people who are questioning this and they're thinking to themselves, I don't want to be stuck in this trap for the rest of my life. I want to be creative. I want to express myself. I want to be me. I want to have the opportunity to make wealth and have more time. Then you need to carry on watching this video. And when I was in my early 20s, I thought owning a house was the bee's knees. That was the pinnacle. Okay, getting your own house, having that mortgage, something that you own. My retirement is now sorted. The problem with that is, as great as it is having your own home, don't get me wrong, it's amazing. You can do what you like to it, have your own space, fantastic. The problem is, once you get that mortgage, you're locked in. There's no escape. You've then got to pay the mortgage off. Nowadays you're looking at probably in mortgage between £1,000 to £2,000 or dollars a month or whatever. And you've got to find that every single month. So you can't escape that 9 to 5. You're then stuck in that position for the next 25, 30 years. Now, I don't want to make this sound really depressing, but that is the honest truth. And again, if that's what you want, if that's what you think will make you happy, then you absolutely go for it. Okay, I'm not going to stand in your way and say don't do it. It's the wrong thing to do. This is for the people who want to live their life, who think that when they get to their late 30s or early 40s and have not acquired any wealth, they're stuck in this cycle of doing a job that they hate and not having any spare money and living paycheck by paycheck, and they can't get out of it because they're locked in this 30-year prison sentence that we are led to believe is the right thing for everyone. Well, it's not the right thing for everyone, okay? I can tell you that now because I'm in my early 40s. I'm at that position myself. I'm happy with my family. I'm happy with the fact that I do have a house now. But if I could go back, to my early 20s, I would tell myself, I would say, forget trying to get the house. You need to build wealth first. That's the key thing. You need to think about your life in 20 years' time, not just, living and spending money at the weekend or saving, putting it in a savings account. But none of this is financial advice. I'm just going to say that now. None of this is financial advice. If you want to put your money in a savings account and do that, absolutely fine. You go for it. But I'm just telling you what I would tell myself, and it would be absolutely do not save for a mortgage. Okay, so part 2, the truth about building wealth. Okay, so this is what I'm learning so far whilst I'm on my journey. And this is something that I wish I understood when I was in my 20s. Wealth doesn't come from an income. You're not going to get wealthy by being paid by someone else. Wealth comes with ownership. You can't save your way to freedom. I know lots of people who've tried doing that and they just end up with, nowhere near as much money as they started, mainly due to inflation. Look, I'm not going to go deep into inflation. There's loads of videos on YouTube about that. You can go and watch those. So, for example, say you've got 10 grand now. Now, in 20 years' time, you might have 20 grand, okay? But that 20 grand is not going to be the same 20 grand as it was 20 years ago, if that makes any sense. And then you've got other things like you've got bills that come on, emergencies. Your boiler packs up. That's a big one. That's annoying. You're living paycheck to paycheck. You can save 300 quid a month or $300 a month or whatever, and then your boiler packs up, and there goes your money. Okay, it's not. It's such a thing to spend your money on, and that happens all the time. Okay, with your own house and bills in general. Okay, you're going to get loads of that sort of stuff. So saving is not an option. You cannot save your way to freedom. What you need is leverage. Okay, and I'm not talking about leverage trading. That's suicide. Do not do that. I'm talking about leveraging as in you need a business or skills or some sort of assets or something like that, just to give you that edge. Look, and you don't even have to go all in on something big straight away. You can just start with something small, something that makes you $200 a month extra. That's $200 that you didn't have before. That's $200 you can then put towards something else, improving your skills further or putting into an asset or something. All of those things sort of compound over time. And it will just make the whole process a lot easier, in that, if that compounds over 10, 20 years, then, you're going to be in a completely different place to what you would have been if you didn't have that extra $200 income. And I wish I'd knew all this when I was 20 years old, because the way I was told, and our parents tell all of us, is that you need to work hard at school and you need to work your way up, in a business. That's how you become rich. That's how you become wealthy. It's not. That's not how you do it. Yes, you can earn a good living from being, 1% of the population earn a decent enough salary to be able to have several holidays a year and pay their mortgage off by the age of 50. But for the vast majority of people, you're not going to be able to do that. And I've preached this in loads of my videos. Okay, you live in a time now where it's never been easier to make money online. We've got AI, we've got social media, YouTube. There's so many outlets that you can make money now online. It's just ridiculous. And if you're in your early 20s, you'll have that edge where you've got the energy, you've got the time, because you don't have the mortgage, you don't have the family. For someone like me, it's really hard. Okay, it's not impossible, because that's why I'm here. I'm doing it. I'm living proof. It can happen. Even though I'm not there yet, I'm on my way there. I can feel it. It's coming. But anyway, but in your 20s, you can really accelerate this. You may not have the experience. That's where the over 40s will definitely have the advantage over you. But you'll definitely have the energy advantage. You're not tied down to 1,500 quid a month. You probably don't have a flash car because the insurance will be too much money. So you obviously won't be getting a flash car. And I've completely lost my train of thought. But anyway, that's the game that I wish I played when I was 20 years old, not trading all my time for a pittance of a paycheck. Part 3, don't build a life around trying to impress people, because I'll tell you exactly why. No one gives a okay? No one cares. Why would I care? I'm not impressed. I don't know a huge amount about cars. You might be trying to get the next Tesla. I don't know what any Tesla models, okay? But you might be striving to get that, and you're going to be driving around thinking, yeah, everyone thinks I'm really cool here. Everyone thinks I'm the bee's knees. I've made it. Literally no one thinks that, okay? And no one cares. And how does it matter if they do? It's like, what is that going to do for your life? Is that going to make your life drastically better? And I can tell you now, I would not be jealous to see you driving around in the latest Tesla or BMW or, I don't know, whatever car. It matters not to me. I do not give a shit. But you know what I would be jealous of? What I would be slightly envious of? It's seeing someone in their early 20s posting all over social media about, how many businesses or SaaSes or digital product stuff that they're selling online and how much they're making a month. Okay, because I would turn around and think to myself, and it happens, I've seen it happens a lot, okay, and I always think, good for them. They are absolutely smashing it. They've made the right decision. That's the path that I should have gone down. But the problem is a lot of this technology wasn't available to me at this age. Like I said before, you're living in this golden opportunity age now where you can really capitalize on this. But anyway, I would not be impressed with you having a flash car. I would be impressed with you posting, about having this amazing lifestyle that you've got, with killing it with your businesses, having a healthy lifestyle, traveling the world whilst doing it. That is something that a lot of people would be envious of. Part 4, build your skills and leverage early. So say you're fresh out of university, or you've just finished college or school, and you're thinking to yourself, I'll just get a job and I'll just spend my evenings bumming about. I'll worry about the money later on in life. Okay, I'll wait until I'm 30, then I can really push for it. That's the wrong way to do it. Don't do that. I pretty much did that and I've regretted it ever since. Don't do that. You've got to use this time, the time that you don't have huge amount of commitments. You've got to use your energy, because you're going to have tons of energy at that age, and really think about what floats your boat, what keeps you going. That's the thing, okay? Something that you're motivated with. And like I said before, you don't have to start big. You can always start small. You're young enough to be able to build these skills up over time and build wealth that way. Being your age, you're probably already tech savvy. You probably know social media inside out. You know about AI. Use that to your advantage. Don't go home and play bloody Halo or Fortnite or whatever. Don't spend your evenings doing that, because it's a waste of time. Yes, you might get a bit of dopamine from it, but trust me, when you start your own business, when you're creating something, you get more of a dopamine hit. It does for me. All of the video games, I used to do that a lot in my 20s. All it did was it's like a temporary relief. That's all it was. I'm not saying don't do that at all, but all I'm saying is that don't spend all of your evenings doing that. Commit to 2 or 3 hours in the evenings learning new skills, launching some digital products, something like that. Okay, create value. You don't need to have a big business plan. You don't need to seek investors or anything like that. You just need to create some value and try and get some attention for it. You young'uns have got the most valuable asset of all, time. Us over 40-year-olds, we don't have that. Okay, yes, we're not, hopefully not on death's door, but even so, you've got that advantage of having time. You can get so much further in 20 years than we can now in 20 years. So I was going to do a 5th part, but I've decided I've been banging on for too long on this video so far, so I'm going to just leave it at 4. Look, I hope you got some value from this. Don't make the same mistakes a lot of us have made. Yes, I'm happy with a large portion of my life, but there is a portion that I really do need to sort out ASAP. I'm on my way to sorting that out, but it's a lot harder for me because I've made those commitments. I have that mortgage. I have a huge amount of responsibilities. And like I said, if I could go back in 20 years' time, which will go back to when I was in my early 20s, I'd give myself a real bollocking, a real rocket up the and just say, sort it out now. What you're doing is not the right thing to do. You're making a complete of yourself. So to sum it all up, the society is telling you to get the mortgage, have the career, get a nice flash car because the Joneses will be impressed next door. Okay. None of that is true. In my opinion, none of that is true. And if you're happy doing that, then you absolutely go for it. If that's your dream to work for someone else and work your way up the ladder, then I'm not going to stop you. Best of luck. Hope it all goes well for you. But if you're like me, you want to experience life outside of that bubble, then if you're watching this in your early 20s, then you've just got to act on it now, guys. Okay, don't make that mistake. Act on it now, because otherwise you may come to regret it later on in life. I'm not speaking for everyone. A lot of people don't mind doing it. They're just content doing it. They think this is how life is and they accept it. I'm not one of those people who are willing to accept that. Okay, no, there's a lot of people out there who are exactly the same as me. Anyway, so I'm going to end this video now. Let us know if you want any help or advice or guidance. I'm happy to help in the comments. Yeah, best of luck. I'll see you in the next video.